Okay.
Oh, hey.
A little bit different orientation,
I know,
but
huh?
we didn't change the settings before we got in here. So, hi guys.
I know it's been a while since it's been about a year since we've actually gone live, right? Didn't we figure it's been a
Yes,
year?
almost to the day.
So we were really excited. We've been wanting to get back on live with you guys on Saturday mornings, but this year's been a little.
It's been interesting.
A little interesting.
Yeah, been busy. So, hi, we're Sean and Allison from Spoken Garden. If you don't know, we are we garden in Zone 8B in the Pacific Northwest in Tacoma, Washington. If you want, let us know you're here in the comments and let us know where you garden and what zone you garden in.
I know, and we're hoping that some of our old friends come back and join us. I know a few of you commented on our post. We literally just decided last night, we're like, let's go live tomorrow. Let's just say hi to everybody. And mainly, we also want to say a very happy Veterans Day.
Yes.
And thank you for your service to all the service members.
Thank you for your service, you guys. You make our country so strong, and your sacrifice is amazing.
Yes. So, really feel strongly about that. And so what is going on out there in your fall garden? Where, and like Sean already mentioned, please let us know where you're gardening so we can chat with you about it a little bit. We're
just here. We're gonna just give you a quick overview. We're going to just kind of talk a little bit here. We're going to go over some Q&A. We've pulled some questions from this last week, I think, just this last week. We've got 3 questions to answer. If you have garden questions, and for this fall or even this winter, maybe some bulb questions.
We love bulbs.
Yeah, we love bulbs. If you have any of those questions, anything else, throw it in the chat. Let's see, we hope we can help you. And we can, get it back and forth here, and that'd be great.
I know we've got, I have my laptop right here, so we're watching the chat. Yes. We've got a poll up for you guys, just kind of for fun, just to see, what did we ask? We wrote this a little bit ago. Mm-hmm. What did you take away from gardening this past year? Mm-hmm. So we'd love to hear what you think. It's, there's always a new learning opportunity every year we garden, right?
I have a question for you. What did you take away from gardening this year?
Well, gardening for Sean and I, this would be my answer. It's so different for us right now because our garden actually is 2 hours away from where we currently live.
Yes.
So, and there's a whole backstory to that if you haven't seen some of our previous videos talking about our move and whatnot. So I think I learned patience, if anything, because we don't see our garden every day. We see it once every, maybe twice a week. So that's been a little tough.
Yeah.
So I've had to really try to find calm somewhere because I want to be amongst our plants and watch them grow and take pictures and
I know. It's hard.
It is hard. What about you?
This year, what are my options? I now have a favorite plant. I love growing flowers from seed. Garden projects are fun, which they are.
I didn't even pick off the list.
And flower bulbs are awesome.
I changed my answer. Go ahead.
And full disclosure, when we were writing this out this morning, Allison wanted to put something in there about I found patience this year, so that was one of the original options on this poll, but we took it off because we wanted to not be so deep, but that's okay. We can be deep. Deep is good. So let me see here. So again, what did you take away from gardening this past year? I have a favorite plant. I now have a favorite plant. I love gardening flowers from seed. Garden projects are fun. And flower bulbs are awesome. I think from this past year of gardening, I'm going to go with garden projects are fun.
I know.
Because we've done multiple mini garden projects throughout this year with moving containers around and, trying to get the water set up and then shifting plants throughout the year, getting the right sun, making more room for more containers. There's been a lot going on. And new plants that have come in. It's like, where the heck are we going to put these?
See,
so anyway,
I know this is actually really hard, this poll, because I totally have to change my answer now. I agree with all of them. A lot of you so far have said that garden projects are fun. So, I do agree with that because they're just to have an ongoing project out in the garden to go out to. But see, we can't do ours every day right yet.
We can't.
We will in the future.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just that feeling of having that that task. I don't know. It's just, that's a good feeling.
If I could change my answer, I would also say bulbs. I would say flowering bulbs are awesome because we love bulbs anyway, but excuse me, that would be my second answer if I could have a second answer. So there you go.
Okay, let's check in the chat. So we have Karen chiming in from Tennessee.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, Karen. Karen says she's in 7B.
7B?
So that's pretty cool. I'd love to know what your weather's like right now. Like, are you
Tennessee?
Do you have a lot of frost yet, or are you still out? Like, are your plants still I don't know. Do you still have anything from summer that's still living over?
Yeah.
So let us know in the chat if you can, Karen. And then Maddie says hello. Oh, this is Ruth from Georgia. Ruth learned that.
Hi, Ruth.
Wait, what'd you say? Oh, I learned that the sun was very, very hot. Yes, I was watering almost every day. Yep, we can relate.
Oh yeah.
I use more containers next year.
Oh, cool. That'll be fun. Yeah, if you're ever looking for container videos, we have a whole bunch of them.
We do. We have a lot of containers. Yeah. We've learned a lot about containers this year too, just like you probably have as well.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks, guys. It's fun.
It's so fun. Oh, more containers. Oh. Yes, bulbs.
Yes.
Says Pat Howard.
Woo. Yes.
Bulbs.
Cool.
You guys, what are your favorite bulbs? Do you have, or maybe back up? Do you prefer fall planted bulbs that come up in the spring? Are those your favorites, or are more of your favorites the summer flowering bulbs?
Good question. Yeah.
So, new question for Sean here. What do you think?
I like them all.
Because we love them all.
I like them all. Really,
a favorite child.
Up here in the Pacific Northwest, though, the caveat is it gets kind of dark. You know, it gets dark early in the winter here. I mean, the sun goes down at like right before
4:48 today. I think.
Well, yeah, and like right before Christmas, the longest day of the year, or no, the shortest day of the year. The sun is only up until like 3 or 3:30 here sometimes, and it's just like, oh my God. It gets dark so early. So it feels dark. It has that dark feeling. So in the springtime, when those spring bulbs are coming up, when those spring flowering bulbs are coming up, it's just like somebody flips on a light switch and I am instantly happy because it's the first bunch of color that we see around here in growth showing us that spring is coming. So spring bulbs more weighted than just all bulbs in general.
I love that.
What about you?
I love that. I mean, I totally agree. And we're Pat Howard is saying daffodils.
Yes, cool.
Yes. Oh, and then Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Oh, hi, Tracy.
Tracy from Lacey. That's awesome. Hi, Tracy.
Nice. All right.
Yay. Okay, favorite bulbs. I don't know. I mean, you guys that have watched our videos, like I love dahlias, so I'm kind of leaning towards the summer bulbs. Glads.
She's a dahlia
I love
aficionado.
glads.
She loves her dahlias.
Yeah.
Her daffs. Well, daffs too.
Well, I do love daffs, but I mean, I love spring bulbs, but I don't know, those dahlias. I just I don't know if I could live without them. And the glads. When Mark gets here,
Mark Bando.
Mark is
we're waiting for you, buddy.
Obsessed with glads as well, so he knows.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
cool.
That's just fun to talk about.
So
right?
so spring bulbs, summer bulbs.
Yeah, we're kind of.
And that's good.
We have the best
it's a good balance, right? Yeah.
Let's check our poll really quick.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? Ooh. Okay.
Oh, still garden projects.
Okay. Garden projects. Awesome.
Super fun.
Now, if you've taken on a garden project this past year, tell us in the comments. Want to know? Did you build a new deck, a patio? Was it a brand new garden space? Did you do something else? Did you create a new shade garden, sun garden, drought tolerant garden? Let us know. That'd be really fun to know.
Tracy says alliums are her favorite. I love
Alliums, yes.
Tracy, have you ever grown those cute little blue alliums? We have some to plant this year that we've never grown before. We have white and purple, and I love the white ones. Those are so gorgeous.
I like the purple ones because they're so distinct with their color out in the garden. They just draw your eyes straight to it.
They do. And you know what I think I love, and maybe you guys all agree too, about alliums is the shape. Because you don't have a lot of round flowers in the garden, and they're just so striking when you plant them in groupings and like behind things. I love that.
I'm glad you
totally
brought that
agree,
up.
Tracy.
I'm glad you brought that up too about the ball, because from afar, from just a distance, it looks like there's this colorful ball just floating out there.
It's so pretty. They look like a Dr. Seuss like flower,
awesome.
like something you'd see in a Dr. Seuss book.
And if the wind's blowing, this thing's like moving. And if you can't see it, if you can't see the stem, the stalk from too far out, it's like, what is going on?
Well, and we're totally guilty. Like literally still have some alliums up. I think there's maybe one or two we still haven't cut down from last year.
Oh yeah.
This previous spring, because they look so pretty all year. They still have their shape.
They do.
They don't really add much, but other than maybe like garden art at that point. But they're just fun to look at.
They have that aesthetic value. It's to me, it's almost like seeing the berries on a salal or even a cotoneaster after it's done flowering, and that's all the color you see. It's still garden interest. It's just a different season. They can go into a different season of garden interest, and that makes it fun too.
Really? Okay, so let's get back here. So Tracy added, I'm starting the shorter ones that look almost like fire pokers. Oh, I don't think I've seen those yet.
Shorter ones are fire pokers.
Where did you find those?
Oh, wow.
Let us know, because I'm going to look that up now.
Yeah, did you buy them online, or was it a local purchase? Cool.
Tell us.
That sounds beautiful.
Okay, Karen's here. Hi, Karen.
Oh, hi,
Karen planted in containers this summer and had a lot of success. Awesome. Yay.
Okay, good. Right on.
Karen also planted dahlia bulbs, and they were stunning, and definitely doing those again.
Dahlias, yes.
So
yes.
You just, once you start growing dahlias, you just can't stop, and you keep adding more, and then you run out of space like we have.
I'm cracking up because it's almost its own world.
It really is.
It's like if you're a dahlia person, you are a dahlia person. It's like being a rose person. If you love roses, you love roses. So.
Oh, Tracy said they were at Costco, the alliums. Oh, I think I have seen those.
Okay.
Oh, cool. So you'll have to let us.
Cool.
I'm curious how those will go for you.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks for the heads up too, because we'll look for those coming up here when Costco has them.
I know. Well, we might have already.
Well, I mean, for like next year.
Next year.
Yeah, if they bring them in the springtime, early, like late winter, early spring, Longfield or whatever.
Yeah, they.
So they have those coming.
Gardens.
Yeah, so they have those coming too. So we'll keep an eye out.
We will, and we've grown a lot of bulbs from Costco, and they've all been pretty good. Like that brand, the Longfield Gardens that they sell, they actually are great bulbs. But okay.
Well, cool, guys.
I know. Sorry,
this is fun.
This is like we could go on and on.
I know.
So what we wanted to do is definitely just have a chat with you guys and have an opportunity to say hi and just connect about our gardens. We also have a couple questions like you mentioned. We have some Q&A that we want to cover because we often don't get to there's too many questions and we want to help so much, but
the video questions, we get inundated. Like there's probably about 10 plus every single day.
There's more than that.
We can't keep up with it. So if we don't get to your questions that you've asked us on any of our videos, we're sorry. You can always email us if you really need to know. And it's it's just on your mind and you can't wait for us to get to the question. Email us at Sean and Allison at spokengarden.com, and we'll try and get back to you as fast as we can. A lot of times, email's a lot faster to get our attention to get back to you. So
sometimes, sometimes. Okay. Jumping into the chat really quick. So Karen mentioned that Karen wants to learn about storing bulbs to replant in the spring. So like dahlias and glads, like stuff like that. Karen, are those the kind of bulbs you're referring to? So let us know. Pat Howard planted bush flat beans in a kid's swimming pool, sitting on my old picnic table.
That is cool.
That. Okay.
So you got the picnic table.
With an old kid's swimming pool on it.
Yeah, and it sounds like is like a wading pool, like one of those doggy pool things?
Yeah, I know. We always
that's what I'm thinking, but I could be. I mean,
they're probably
it's only
maybe a foot and a half, maybe deep.
Boy, that's a really good idea.
So cool. What a great use of.
Really cool. Nice job, Pat.
Just punch some holes in the bottom?
Oh yeah, you gotta have the drainage.
Or was it? Yeah, we want to know more. That's fun. Really interesting.
That's really cool.
Pat said it did really well.
Awesome.
And Pat has deer.
Oh.
We have deer as well.
Yeah, deer. They make it interesting.
We have a lot of deer. That's why our entire garden is somewhere else, because we have, again, that's a long story. It's like I want to tell it, but I don't want to.
You know what? Go ahead.
Well, okay. We are.
You guys don't mind, do you?
Yeah. There's some other comments I want to look at.
Okay.
Sean and I currently, if you're new to our channel, we've been meaning to put out a channel trailer and change things up so everybody. Yeah.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. We started our YouTube channel about 3 years ago, maybe 3.5 years ago now. We started it during the pandemic when everybody was scrambling and scared and confused, and we just wanted to have an outlet to be able to post something every day and put positivity out there. And it turned into a daily video for an entire year under a series that we were first called the Quarantine Gardeners, and then we kind of morphed that into the Spoken Garden Daily.
Well, after just really quick, I just want
to
say, once we were not under quarantine anymore, we've been doing these for almost every single day for at least 60 days, maybe 90 days. And we're let's just challenge ourselves to do one every day for a full year. And that's why we came up with, and it changed from the Quarantine Gardener to the Spoken Garden Daily.
Yeah.
And that's why they're numbered that way. And so it should go to 365 episodes because every day we were out in our garden talking with you guys about what we were doing. So there.
I'm glad that you added that. So this is just a quick backstory, you guys. So we're really, I can't believe we did a daily video for an entire year. I mean, it's just how did we do that? We had a wonderful yard. It was my grandparents' house that we totally added on to, and we loved it. We had beautiful old plants. If you've seen any of those older videos, I still miss some of the trees in the yard. But
I miss the roadies.
I miss the roadies too, and the azaleas. But we were running out of space. Our neighborhood was not the safest anymore. Tacoma, where we were living, kind of changed a lot, and
especially during the
a lot
pandemic.
of crime and just.
Well, you guys know of the pandemic. It just kind of rewired some people, and some people kind of left reality, and they haven't come back yet. There's still some of those people, but some people did come back. But during that time, people kind of went away mentally, and so we observed a lot of different things out there.
There's a lot of scary things going on. So yeah. So anyway, long story short, we ended up deciding to, you know what? We want more property. We want more space for dahlias and all the plants that we grow. Mm-hmm. So we decided to sell our house, and it sold really fast, which we were very thankful for. So we had an opportunity to live out in Sean's. His parents had a little beach house that nobody in the family needed or was using at the time.
That's where we are right now.
That's where we are. So we've been here for almost over a year and a half now.
Yep.
But we are continuing to look for property and searching for our dream house. And in the meantime, our plants are 2 hours away. So anyway, that was a quick backstory. I know there's a lot of really fun stuff going on in the chat.
In the meantime, when all this stuff happens, just like you guys, we continue to garden.
We love it.
Life moves on, and here we are.
It is, and we've learned so much about container gardening. Still learning. Okay, we need to back up.
Backing up.
So let's see. Maddie Copeland mentioned Maddie closed 2 iris beds. They were too much for a senior citizen.
Oh, okay.
I planted 2 rows of Sharon and hibiscus.
Ooh,
beautiful.
Nice change out. Those are beautiful plants. Wow.
So beautiful. Pat was telling us that Pat grew, if you are just joining us, Pat was telling us they did a really fun project, and they had a picnic table with a kids pool on top, right? And then they planted bush beans inside of it. So we were wondering how that went, and Pat said, yes, it went great.
Awesome. You can't beat having fresh beans.
Oh my gosh, beans are the best.
Yeah, bush beans are awesome.
I know. Tracy started a brand new garden this year from scratch.
Wow, yeah, congratulations. Jeez.
Tracy's slowly removing landscaping rocks to make garden beds and currently container gardening. Good for you. That's so cool.
That's a lot of work too. Wow. So right on, yeah.
That is a lot of work and so rewarding. And then having that ongoing project is so fulfilling.
Well, you can kind of put life aside and focus in on that, and that helps too.
Wow, you guys.
Awesome. Good job, Tracy.
I love hearing from you guys.
This is really cool.
G's here.
G. Hey, G.
Oh, we haven't talked to G in a while. G,
how you doing, buddy?
Good morning to you too, G. G said it's been a while since I can join in the chat. Well, we haven't had one for a year. Yeah. So here we are.
Great to have you.
G said he's thinking how I first started my flower gardening with gladiolus and watching our gladiolus videos.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Since then, life was never the same. And you know what? That is...
Well, anybody else watching here, go to Instagram and follow G's Instagram channel, or I guess account, because he's doing all these amazing things with cut flowers and growing and selling. G, you just went orbital, man, and it is awesome to watch your journey. Seriously,
love it. And I mean, your daughter's involved. It's so many cute videos with your daughter helping plan things and cut the flowers and put them into bouquets. And oh, we're really inspired by you.
Yeah, G, leave your Instagram handle if people want to, if you want. You don't have to, but it'd be great if you could. Yeah, like, hey, no. But yeah, leave your Instagram handle in the chat if people want to check out all the things that you're doing. Because I mean, you just give us like a charge every single time, such a positive charge every single time we see you on Instagram and everything that you're doing.
So cool. Good. I mean, just cannot wait to see where you go from here.
Totally.
Just amazing. So thank you for coming too for our chat, all of you.
And anybody else that has an Instagram channel and you want to share what you're doing on Instagram with anybody here, leave your Instagram handle in here so people can go find you and interact with you there too. So,
yeah, that would be great, you guys. Moving on the chat, we're just kind of catching up here.
Yeah,
Karen, okay, I'm sorry, this might have been a comment from a little bit ago. Karen asked, is it different for different types of bulbs? I assume it is the same for all types of bulbs. Can you let us know what you're referring to? It's probably something we said a little bit ago.
Is that the storage?
Oh, maybe.
Karen, let us know if you're referring to the storage. Sorry, it's we're trying to keep up with the chat.
I know, I'm sorry.
If you are, you know what, I can just jump in here maybe. If you are referring to the storage of bulbs in general, storing them over the winter because they're not hardy in your area, in general, yes, it is fairly, everything's pretty much similar to what you need to do and how you need to treat them. You definitely want to, and actually it's one of our questions here coming up for the dahlias. We had somebody ask us about dahlias and storing them and what they need to do if they need to do anything at all. And if they're not hardy in your area, whether you're growing them in the ground or in containers, you still, if they're not hardy, dig them up, get them out of that soil. And because they're going to die in those freezing temperatures where you live if they're not hardy. And then clean the soil off, wash them off with water if you need to, let them dry because you don't want to store them wet because they are susceptible to some diseases. And then you'll basically, you'll put them in somewhere where it doesn't, you'll store them where it's not going to get below freezing or at freezing at all for temperatures. And it's going to be dark and it's going to be dry. And you're going to need to pack them, any of those. This goes for daffs, tulips, alliums, dahlias, glads, even lilies this goes for, all in general, and pack them in like a box with either in sawdust, not too fine of a sawdust, more coarse sawdust so it's bigger chunks, or just torn up newspaper and just pack the newspaper in around them loosely, and that'll keep a good airflow, but it'll still insulate them. So anyway, so that's
great. Yeah,
that's what you need to do.
Yeah, that's really
if that's
good.
what you're
that's
asking.
What we do. Well, and like you said, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Right. With
yeah.
the dahlias.
Sure.
More specifically.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, because the situation's fun. They're in grow bags.
Yeah. Well,
so and we're growing our dahlias in grow bags. So very specific things that we do that we're going to talk to you about from that question.
Oh, you're welcome, Karen. Hopefully that was helpful. Yeah. Okay. Pat, we have this ongoing question with Pat about the project with the beans. And Pat mentioned that the deer did not bother the beans, and it produced a lot. And that's amazing.
Awesome. Did you can them?
Ooh,
did you preserve them? Let us know, because we're starting to get into a little bit of, if we grow our own vegetables, how can we preserve them a little bit? So we're kind of on a learning curve with that ourselves.
Yeah, we have a lot to learn.
Yeah, my mom cans all the time, or she used to, not really anymore because she doesn't garden as much as she did. But when she did, or she wanted to can, she would can every fall, and she'd do pickles and tomatoes, and she would do cucumbers, and she would do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, so
that's really cool that she learned how to do all of those things.
Yeah.
That's super cool. G mentioned that G was there when the quarantine gardeners. Yes, that was a long time ago. G, you've been with us for so long. Thank you. G was saying that we made gardening educational and fun for him. Excuse me, for him in 2020.
Oh, so thanks, G. Thank you.
And now the lessons I learned, he's demonstrating to his kids.
Awesome. That's cool. Well, you guys are learning together.
Amazing. Yeah.
You're sharing those moments, and that's what matters.
That's so inspiring. There's so many more. Okay.
Nope.
We're just kind of sitting here reading the chat. This is great, you guys. Thank you
this
all.
This is awesome, you guys.
Budget Gardening, Vita Loca, good morning to you too.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us and jumping in the chat. It looks like Mark's here.
Hey, Mark.
I learned that during your dahlias, and also toughens the tuber skins. Okay, that must have been something you said a little bit ago. Pat said Pat ate the beans. You can't buy them.
Awesome.
Oh, curing. He said curing. Toughens the tuber.
Okay.
Not curing.
Cool. Wow, great.
Mark's here from El Paso.
Yay, Mark.
Mark, we were just talking about glads a minute ago, and we mentioned you because we know that you're obsessed with glads. We're obsessed with glads.
If
any more glads.
Well, and Mark, we do remember that you are super into, or you were before, maybe a year or two ago, Shasta daisies.
Oh, the Shastas. You've inspired us, Mark.
Yes,
we have.
We increased our Shasta daisy plant types.
And we still have so many on our list that we want to get into. And oh my gosh, there's so many plants. Mark, a question for you. In El Paso, I'm kind of thinking I know the answer, but are you able to grow hydrangeas down there? I know you don't like hydrangeas, but just in general, can people grow hydrangeas? I'm kind of thinking not. But I'm wondering, because we grow them in AB and they grow really well here, but
it's a different sun intensity.
That's what I'm wondering. And I forget, actually, Mark, I feel like you're closer to zone 10, maybe.
And it could be a lot drier air too.
Lots of questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's get into our first, maybe our first Q&A. Or
cool. Sure.
Should I ask you?
Yeah, or whatever. I can read them too if you want.
Okay.
We haven't done these in a while, so we're getting back into our cadence.
I know, and we want to, again, so this question's about cordylines. Have you guys ever grown false dracaenas before? They're kind of a cool plant.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. They're native to Australia. So they're a really fun tropical looking plant. They're almost like, if you think of flax. If you think of flax, because there's flax.
Like what?
Yeah, pick one, Sean. Flax, if you think of that, that's also native to Australia, but flax, cordyline is similar to flax, where it has like the swordy, kind of flat, long, pointed leaves. But instead of going straight up like a flax does, these kind of come out from a central point, and they grow on a stem eventually, and they grow up. So they're kind of like, when they get older, they look like a cross between a flax and a palm tree, because they can get really tall. So that's what cordylines basically become over time.
They're cool. Some people maybe don't like cordylines we've talked about this before, and maybe this is a fun question for you guys. How do you feel about plants that maybe don't offer like a lot of pollinator, kind of like nectar, or, they don't really offer that? They're basically, it's a grass, right? Is it considered a grass?
I'm not sure.
No, I can't remember. But it offers other benefits, I guess, for pollinators and for critters and wildlife, right? Mm-hmm. There's opportunities to nest maybe in the leaves, mm-hmm. or to provides cover and things like that.
I think eventually they will flower. I think they do flower eventually. It's just they have to be at a certain maturity. So
we're gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, we have to. But ours aren't that mature yet to flower yet, so we haven't seen it yet.
It just makes me wonder. Some people are really, which we all are. We love providing opportunities for pollinators. We want to draw them into our garden and help out. But a plant like a cordyline, or even sometimes maybe a hosta, or some type of like just kind of more of a foliage plant, mm-hmm. maybe that's not as popular. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe I'm moving on.
Was there a question?
I don't know. I was just curious.
I
guess I didn't ask a question. No. Let's just get to the actual question. Sorry, I'm rambling. Okay. Let's see. It's the account is Sanjara. Sanjarandal?
Sanjarandal.
Okay. My cordylines are getting so tall, they say. Can I just cut them down from the top? Thank you.
Yes.
What does Sean say to that?
You can cut them down. Thank you, Sanjarandal 8859. Thank you for your question. And this was on the Cordyline video, Cordyline Care SGD Day 351. So that video. So yes, you can cut them back. Don't do it right now, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, because if you have any freezing temperatures, if you cut it now, if you cut that top off and all you have is the stem, it's going to want to regrow and reestablish that top part of the plant, because it wants to photosynthesize. And that's a very common characteristic response of plants. When you literally top them and you take all their leaves off, they regrow really fast because they need that photosynthesis going on to keep their life cycle going in general. So don't do it this time of year. Do it in the spring when the threat of frost is gone, and literally anywhere along that stem where, basically on the cordyline stem, leaves come out all around the stem. They come out from all the different areas. They're packed in tight. You can't even really see the stem when those leaves are alive, or after they're dead and you've cut them and there's a remnants of them. So within each one of those little leaves, there's a bud. There's a growth bud at the right where the leaf comes into the stem and it attaches. There's a bud just above that leaf. And this is pretty common for most plants. So what you do is wherever you cut that cordyline, you're going to get a new bud that's going to grow, and it's going to grow a new stem with new leaves from that point. Usually it happens pretty close to the top wherever you cut it. So depending on where you want to redirect that growth and have it restart the plant, if it's really tall, it sounds like you might want to cut it kind of low, but don't cut it too low to the ground. Give it maybe about a foot or more above your ground level, if it's in a pot that's just above the soil level in the container. And so it'll have all those different buds to choose from. And then it can regrow its top portion, but only in the spring after only in the spring when the threat of frost has passed. And it's going to be different for, wherever you live, depending on where you live. So the fun thing is that if you cut a lot of that stem off, you can take like 6-inch sections of that stem, or that whole stem, cut them in 6-inch sections, too much coffee here, folks. And you can bury those whole stems vertically in a pot or container or in the ground. And that's how the propagators create new plants anyway from those. So that's a fun thing if you ever want to do it and you have enough of that stem growth, you can do that.
We tried to propagate cordylines. We still are growing this gorgeous pink kind of looking cordyline.
I can't remember the name of it. It's a specific kind.
Oh, it's just on the tip of my tongue.
The new growth is red.
It's so
bright
gorgeous.
red, and as it
pink kind of actually.
Yeah, and as it matures, those bright colored leaves turn green, but it always has the red topped leaves just coming up.
So beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
We'll have to show that on video again soon so you guys can see it.
It is one of our videos out there. I can't remember which cordyline video it is, but it is.
We have a couple.
Yeah.
But it's been a fun plant to grow just to kind of have in the background. And we had a lot of them at the old property. We took a few of them with us, not all of them. We left like half of them. But Budget Gardening Vita Loca mentioned that they've never grown cordyline, but just looked it up and it looks really pretty. And it is kind of a fun plant to experiment with.
We've grown them almost exclusively in containers since we've had them. Actually, the way we got most of ours.
Oh, I just remembered that.
Yeah, the way we started out growing cordylines is we went to Home Depot and we bought this mixed container in the spring.
They have those like mixed, they just kind of put a whole bunch.
Yeah, and it was a foliage. It was if you have a thriller, spiller, and filler, it was the thriller, wasn't it? It was the top.
Mm-hmm.
It was the thriller. It was the tallest plant in this little tiny container, and it's just all these leaves coming up in the back. And then they put, what was it? It was like maybe a little Dusty Miller, and then maybe a couple pansies or a primrose. I mean, it was a bunch of mixed plants for the spring. And so we bought like 1 or 2 of those every year or two, and that's how we started growing our cordylines. Eventually, they got so big we had to transplant them out of those pots, and we put them in bigger pots by themselves.
They were like, let's say maybe a foot tall.
When we bought them,
maybe. And we have at least 2 of those still growing in containers in my mom's yard where all our stuff is.
I think we had like 3 or 4 at one point of those.
But the one that's about a foot tall is probably
it's almost
6-7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's in a big container.
It's like a lot of people would probably just throw it away. So anyway, we could go on and on. Getting back to the chat really quick. Pat, a little bit ago, Pat, sorry we didn't see this. Pat asked what zone. Are you asking what zone we are in, or what zone maybe Budget Gardening Vita Loca is in?
Well, our zone is 8B.
We're 8B.
So there you go.
Yeah. And then there was a comment from Mark that we missed here about Shastas, because we were asking him also about the hydrangeas. And Mark said he has 25 Shasta varieties.
Oh my God, man. Wow, that is so cool.
I want to see them.
Yeah.
And he can't. Okay, so Mark says, you're only an 8A. Why did I think El Paso was like higher than that?
Because of the USDA hardiness zone map. The 8B kind of goes, does one of these.
And he's 8A.
So, yeah, 8A, 8B. It's not that much.
It's really not that much. It's probably. Is it 5-degree difference? Maybe.
I think it's like 10 or 15, maybe 20 degrees, maybe. But it's not that big of a deal. Yeah,
it's really close. And Mark said they can grow like the Proven Winners hydrangeas and stuff, the ones that can take a little more sun.
Awesome.
Cool. So, okay. So, I want to cover or highlight a couple of things you said in the chat. From 22 to 23, he said his garden grew from a hobby to a family business.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. And his little girl has more input of the flowers they grow because it's her ingredients for her bouquets.
That is super fun. Cute. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then those.
What else we got here?
This is a fun question. G, thank you for asking us. G asked, will there be any gardening or farming exhibitions we're going to be attending in 2024, especially in the PNW area?
Yes, there will be.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, great question. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to be at the Tacoma Home and Garden Show in January.
We'll be doing 2 sessions, speaking events.
Right now, we're going to be, so that runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be speaking on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, we haven't had that confirmed.
Not officially yet, but that's what's planned so far. Then we're also going to be at the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival in Seattle in February.
Mid-February.
And mid-February.
It's like Valentine's Day weekend.
It's like they have the 18th to, whatever. So we're going to be talking the very first day on Wednesday, twice. And then we'll be on Sunday, and this is all on the DIY stage. Then that'll be Sunday on the DIY stage again, and then in Container Wars. So
Container Wars is gonna be so much fun, you guys. So if any of you are, sorry, you were gonna say something.
Well, I was gonna say, also, so that's January, February, March. We're planning on being a part of, hopefully, the Great Grow Along. And so we're not sure in what capacity yet, but we want to, and we're hopeful for that. So that'll be coming up. And then we're doing an online thing with Master Gardeners of King County for the Bellevue Demonstration Garden, but that's going to be more of a private type of thing. So
I think that's in April too.
Yeah, that's in April. So yeah.
We're really excited. Thank you for asking us about that. We haven't even really talked about that.
Yeah, we're still working on Christmas.
I know, it's kind of
the New Year.
Let's see. Okay, so just getting back to the chat, Budget Gardening, Vita Loca mentioned they're in 5B in New Hampshire. That's cool. If they buy cordyline, they'd have to overwinter it in the garage. Yeah, I think it's only hardy down to 7, maybe zone 7.
Wait a minute, which one?
Cordylines? Yeah. Zone 7 or zone 8?
Yeah, I think it might be on the 8s.
So it's kind of a higher zone.
Yeah.
So you would maybe just put your container on wheels and then you can just roll it into the garage.
Some people will grow them too, I think, as houseplants, but they're a little tricky because they do need full sun. So they might need like full sun exposure, direct sun exposure, even inside for probably at least 4 to 6 hours. But I'm not 100% on that. But if you can bring them in, but try not to let them get exposed to that freezing weather if you can. They'll survive it a little bit if they're up against a building, because that's what we've experienced, but they really don't like the really cold temperatures, because we've lost some from some deep freezes where we got like 20 degrees Fahrenheit for like a week. We lost a couple.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so we tried
to cover them. But getting back to the chat, so that's cool. I don't know much about gardening in 5B New Hampshire, so I look forward to learning more about that. Tracy from Lacey, Washington, mentioned that she thought PNW was 8A. But what's really interesting about the PNW, well, first of all, nobody really can agree on what exactly constitutes the Pacific Northwest. It's either a few states or it's like 8 states.
Yeah.
There's a huge range depending on what research you're looking at. But do you want to answer that?
Well, so depending on where you're at, Tracy, you can be in 8B, 8A, 7B, 7A. I mean, the higher you go in elevation too, the lower your zone basically goes, because it's just colder for longer during the year. Like if you're up in the mountains or the like the Cascades, or even in the Olympic range. But then in Eastern Washington, they're like zone 5 and 6.
Like our friends in Spokane.
Yeah, I mean,
she's 5B.
So you head further east in this state, and the zoning completely changes. I mean, you probably know this. If you lived here for any amount of time, you know that it's way different on the east side of the state. It's drier, it's sunnier, it's colder, but it also can be a lot warmer, like hotter. It can get over 100 degrees for like at least 2 or 3 weeks at a time straight. So, so I mean, there's so many different, so because of the terrain out here too, there's so many different microclimates. And you in Lacey, you're not really close to the Puget Sound. You're kind of close. But like for people in Tacoma or Bremerton or Seattle, I mean, they're right off the Puget Sound, so their microclimate can be very different from yours. And also that it's almost like a lake effect, but because they're so close to the water, it can be warmer there than it can be further inland. And so anyway, it's just, it gets so varied because of all these different factors. So there can be a lot of variation in the zoning for just Western Washington. So.
Definitely. And G said hi to all PNW gardeners, and we're so excited that there's so many of you here. G grows in Lakeport, California, which is zoned 8B or 9A. So it's kind of one of those microclimates.
G, let us know, is that down by like Lake Tahoe?
I think we looked it up one time.
I think it's near Lake Tahoe. Do you get any like a lake effect, like a warming, cooling type of thing too, or like winds off the lake or anything? Anyway. I don't know. I want to know. I've never been there, so
We're nerds. We like to
Yeah,
know.
I like stuff.
We want to know.
We like maps too.
We do like maps.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on in the chat. So, or not in the chat, in the questions. We have. Let's talk about dahlias.
Dahlias.
And let us know in the chat right now if you're growing dahlias or you grew dahlias this year. Give us like a hand raise or like a heart or something, because we love dahlias.
Are dahlia people out there?
Dahlia people, where
so
are
I'm
you?
going to ask Allison this question,
okay.
because she's the dahlia person between us. She loves
you
dahlias.
like dahlias.
I like them, but she loves them. Okay. So from our one of our most recent, what?
Hands up. Yeah.
Hands up. Woo, woo. From one of our most recent videos, fall garden update, planting fall crops, and more. So this year we talked about dahlias in that video and just some updates on them. So this was from Leslie Lasser, ZL9PB. Thank you, Leslie, for your question. She'd like to know, how do I overwinter the dahlia bulbs I grew in grow bags? I am in zone 6A.
That's such a specific question, but this applies to containers too, probably.
Yes. Well,
which, if you're not familiar with a grow bag, it's like a big fabric bag. We've been growing our dahlias. We needed something for kind of a temporary situation. We had like 30 dahlia bulbs we dug up, big ones too, that we moved from our old yard, and we were not leaving those behind. So we took those with us, and we needed something really cool. So we reached out to Smart Pot, and we've been partnering with them to grow those or to use them, and they're amazing.
Yeah, and they were really generous. They sent us like at least 15 of them. Then we got some more after that too, because it just kept growing with our need for the dahlias. So, and we've been growing them in grow bags now for about 2 years. Did you already say that?
I did.
Sorry. Okay.
I did, and we love them. And we would highly, if you have any more questions about those, we would highly recommend. It was kind of an experiment, and it's turned out well. But you do need to dig them up. Because even though now dahlias are hardy down to zone 8, so we could leave them in the ground here normally for if we were just had them in our old raised beds in the old house. But whenever you're gardening in a container, you kind of need to zone up a little bit. So that's almost more like a zone 7 in your container, because it's outside of the ground now.
Yes,
right?
The roots are exposed above the insulation of the ground, like regular plants are on the ground. So with that exposure of the roots above the ground, they're more susceptible to cold freezing damage.
And we don't want to do that, especially in a fabric bag that has even more airflow than a container. So definitely need to dig them up at the end of the season. We still need to do this, actually. We have a whole bunch of dahlias to dig up.
Yes.
So, there's a lot of ways people go about this process. I know some of the big flower farmers have their own systems and ways of overwintering their dahlias in their areas. But basically, Sean and I just cut the stalks down to maybe about a foot or less so we can see them. We dig up the dahlias. Some people spray them off with water just to get all the dirt off. We just brush ours off, leave them out to dry, maybe indoors on, I think we just use newspaper or something, and just kind of let them dry.
And you can leave them outside too if it's warm enough. And you got the that direct sun. It's okay to expose them a little bit to that, and there's some airflow or something. So they just dry off. You don't want them to burn up and get like desiccated from like intense heat. But
right, and you don't want to store them wet. A lot of you probably already know this. You don't want them to, otherwise they'll mold and they'll die, and that would be a waste of your time. And then there go all your dahlias. So anyway, there's other ways to kind of explain, how to do that. But that's basically if you're growing dahlias in smart pots. And you mentioned this person is in zone 6A. So yeah, you would need to dig them up anyway in your zone.
Yep.
So I hope that was helpful for you. And
also after you clean them off and they get dry, put them in a box or a tub. Don't seal them up with like a lid or anything. Let it free airflow around it. Get them up off the ground. Bring them inside to a cold or a cool, dry, dark room or area, and that's where you're going to set them for the rest of the year until you want to bring them out about mid to late spring, whenever the threat of frost is passed and you want to get them planted. And when they're in that tub or box, pack them with either really, really coarse sawdust or some shredded newspaper. We use shredded newspaper. And just pack it in there, make it so they're covered, so you can't see them, and then get that packaging around them. And then just set them and forget them, basically. Leave them. They're not going to need water. They're not going to need anything else. Make sure it's dry, it's dark, and it's cool, but above freezing. If you're going to place them somewhere where it's not heated, and you're gonna get like in a garage or a shed, and their temperatures are gonna get at or below freezing. That's the wrong place to set them. They need to be somewhere where they're kept at more of a constant temperature, but definitely above freezing.
Yeah.
There you go.
And they'll be happy, and you can plant them again next spring when the threat of frost has passed and start over again.
Yes.
And Tracy mentioned in the chat that she loves dahlias but has never grown them before. So hopefully maybe next year.
You should totally try it, Tracy.
Just get like one bulb, and just kind of like see how it goes, and you will.
Yeah. You can put them in the ground. You just set them and forget them. You don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's cool. Awesome.
Okay, so.
Do you want to do chat real quick?
Yeah, we've got. Okay, so Mark mentioned dahlias are super easy and rewarding, and we could not agree more. And so are glads, he mentioned, and cannas and calla lilies.
Totally. You're speaking our language, Mark.
We love all these bulbs. So callas, we're not growing any calla lilies at this point.
No, we've had cannas in the past. We got some new ones.
We have a ton of cannas, but callas, we don't.
From Ballhort, we got some new ones this year, and they did great.
Oh, they did amazing.
They grew. We got them when they were like this tall, maybe about 10 inches or so, and they grew like. I mean, they got up to about 2.5, 3 feet, no problem, and they bloomed forever. They just kept blooming.
I know we might want to consider pulling those, like overwintering those indoors.
Oh yeah,
because I want to keep them.
Oh, yeah.
G mentioned that he is 1 hour. We asked G where Lakeport, California is, where he lives. Lakeport is about 2 hours north of San Francisco.
Oh,
about an hour from Napa.
Okay, nice.
Come visit. Hey,
so maybe consider Northern California.
Yeah,
cool.
And he says they deal with hot and cool, and the weather can be really unpredictable.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, that makes gardening really challenging, but that's
a lot of
but very rewarding too. So.
Very much. And then Budget Gardening Vita Loca mentioned they bought a pack of dahlia seeds a few years ago and was able to harvest the tubers from those seeds.
Cool.
Nice.
We haven't done that yet.
I know. We keep wanting. We have all these packs of dahlia seeds.
Yeah.
We didn't do any seeds really this year.
So Budget Gardening Vita Loca, where did you buy your seeds from? Because they sound like it was a good stock.
Yeah.
And so where did you buy those from, please? If you could tell us, we'd like to know. And probably other people would like to know too.
Yeah, I'd love to know. G mentioned that dahlias are like his favorite. And I remember your pictures. He took some to Best Specimen Grown and Best in Show at county fairs.
Awesome.
At local county fairs.
Woo!
That's so cool.
That's great.
Really rewarding. And the fact that your kids get to be a part of that too. I love that.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Wait, there's something here. Okay. So, and then Tracy mentioned, Tracy loves cannas. She had 6 of them in containers, but they all died when we had light overnight frost in October. I know, I'm a little worried about ours too.
So, Tracy, if you haven't thrown them out yet, just because they died on top doesn't mean they specifically died below. The tuber might still be, or the bulb still might be alive. So if you still have them, you can dig them up and just do the squish test, pinch test. See if they're squishy or they're solid, they're hardish and they're not slimy or they're not rotting or anything. And they still might be viable.
Yeah, very true. I know. Yeah. Oh, that makes me, we're going to be finally going into our garden this week. We haven't been in there in over a week now. So we really want to get in, and we've got a lot of projects.
We got some stuff to do. Yeah.
Okay. So, she mentioned that she threw them away. Well, start again next year.
Yeah. There's always this next season.
Worries.
Yeah.
No worries. Okay. So let's talk about, let's see, this is fall bulb lasagna planters, which we love. This is a layer. Have you guys ever taken your bulbs? Well, usually people use fall planted bulbs, daffodils, tulips. And have you ever layered them in a lasagna type planter? And you can add alliums, tulips, daffodils. Mm-hmm. What else have we ever done? Anemones, hyacinth.
Yep, hyacinth.
I mean, you can use pretty much anything.
Yeah.
So the trick is, getting all the different depths, correct.
So if you can imagine it, we made a video about this. Was it last year? I think it was last year. So,
it's kind of a
so fall bulb lasagna planter, literally you start at the bottom of the planter, figure out your lowest depth, your deepest depth, and that's where you start. And then you plant your alliums or your hyacinths first, because those go deeper usually than anything else in our list that we like to plant. And then add those in, put soil over them, pack it down, and then put in your daffs or tulips or other bulbs at that level, maybe 5 or 6 inches, and then cover them with soil, bring it up to the 2, 3, 4 inch level, put in your top bulbs, your smaller bulbs, even your grape hyacinths, and then cover them, and then bring it up to the level, last finishing soil level there, and you're good. Yeah.
They're really fun.
Yeah.
And they bloom, and everything either comes up at the same time or they come up at different times. And it's so much fun.
I know. It's so fun to plan out.
So the question from the audience member was, are we going to pull, are we leaving our pot with all these bulbs in it outside all winter?
And so this is from JJ Harvey MI. I'm assuming that's Michigan. So thank you, JJ Harvey MI, for your question. So are we leaving the pot outside all this winter? Yes, we are leaving it out because we can. And this comes down to a couple different things. One, the bulbs are hardy in our area to be outside. Most of the bulbs that we plant are hardy down to like 5 or 6 zoning, and we're in zone 8. So in general, so it's okay to, even though they're outside, they're exposed to that cold temperature above ground. There's no insulation around them with like being planted in the ground as compared to being planted on the ground. We can leave them in there. They're super hardy. They're going to be fine. Usually with our average coldest temperatures here. The other thing is that when we plan these out, and you can too, use a really well draining soil. Even a potting soil mix with even just a little bit of compost, it's still going to drain really well. And you want to have that drainage, even up here where we're at. We get a lot of rain, we get a lot of moisture. A lot of times it's not like a deluge. A lot of times it's just this drizzle or a light kind of rain, but it happens a lot. So it's more consistent, it's constant. And if you can imagine having soil that doesn't drain well, it's going to accumulate water a lot more. It's going to hold that water tighter around those bulbs for a longer period of time. That's going to lead to rot. So that's what you don't want. So if you don't want your any bulbs that you plant in containers to rot, but you want to leave them outside after you plant them this fall or winter, you want to put them in really well draining soil. So that water just drains away, the soil stays moist, but it doesn't stay saturated to rot your bulbs. And then if we're really worried about it, what we'll do is we'll keep an eye on the temperatures and our weather. What we'll do is we'll see, okay, well, if it's going to get like about 20 degrees or colder, we'll really actually take our bulbs and those lasagna planter or in any other pots that we have, and then we'll bring them up next to a building, whether that's a garage, a house, a shed, because then they'll get that residual heat of that building from any light that building or structure gets over the day. And so they'll be further protected even overnight as that residual heat is released back up and out into the air and atmosphere. So they'll have that form of protection too. And we'll mulch on top of our bulbs too. We add wood mulch on top. So
add that to the list too. We need to do that.
Oh, that we need to do, yeah.
That's on the list.
So anyway, so that's how we plan and treat our bulb lasagna planters and any bulbs that we plant out in containers this time of year, to just keep them outside.
Yeah, definitely.
So hope that answers it. Hope that was helpful.
So I was just thinking that was a really good answer. Hopefully that was definitely helpful.
That's what we do.
for you guys that are here, let us know has your area already had your first frost? Let us know in the chat. Just random.
Yeah.
Ours was predicted for this weekend. Well, actually our garden in Tacoma, I think it was like the 12th.
We've already had it.
But we already had it.
We had it back in October, I think.
I think it was like a couple weeks. Yeah, I guess that would have been October.
Yeah,
so
it was right before Halloween, I think.
Yeah, let us know. I mean,
a little early, but that's okay.
The ground's not frozen yet, so we're still able to do a whole bunch of fall planting and bulbs, and we have a lot of perennials to plant.
Yes,
so,
yes, we do. Yes, we got a project coming up that we might not have talked to you guys about. We're going to do a little bit of land clearing. And we're going to plant some of these newer plants that we got from Proven Winners and a couple other organizations in the ground to really get them set for next spring. We got to get them planted now because fall's the best time to plant perennials.
Yes.
So
I think my mom has we've pretty much taken over like half of my mom's yard at this point, and she's been so gracious with her space.
Yes. Thank you, Julie.
We have all these zones that we've organized in her yard.
Yes, we actually
So we really appreciate it. I'm really excited to get that project launched. And then we have a lot of containers. Of course, we're going to be potting up different things into bigger containers. And probably like you guys, just, kind of a fun long list of stuff to do that we can't wait to dig into.
Yep.
Budget Gardening Vita Loca says, yes, they've had their first frost. That was New Hampshire, I think.
Oh, okay.
That was mentioned.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, you guys, this is, This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we haven't done one of these in at least a year, so yeah. Thanks for being here with us. We're not going to really wrap it up just yet, but
we're just about out of time though. So
well, we were going to do gardening in the news, but just kind of bring us some like gardening, I don't know, article or something new happening, but we didn't really. I don't think we found anything.
Well, and I'm kind of glad we didn't, because we have a new idea coming up for a new video that's we're gonna launch hopefully in the next week or two for you guys. And should we tell them about it, or should we? Yeah. So kind of based along the idea of gardening news, like it's going to be kind of a weekly roundup of just what's going on in gardening, and we have a whole bunch of ideas. So we want to bring that to you weekly, hopefully.
Yeah, we're excited. I know I'm just oozing with excitement right now, but it's been a long time coming for us. We've talked about it because we want to do it right and we want to make it fun. So we've got all these little things that we're planning out, and this is one of them. And it's going to be fun to see how you guys see what you guys think, and definitely open to like different suggestions and things.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Yeah. So, totally. but it's going to be really fun. So,
and I'm wondering too, if you guys have any, and you can always comment, and we should have mentioned, shout out to those of you watching this replay. If you have any questions about either fall gardening kind of tasks, or if you have any ideas for upcoming topics, kind of like we're starting to organize our winter gardening kind of ideas for you guys, things we need to do in our garden. Maybe if there's some helpful, topics that we could cover for you about flowers or plants.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we love talking about overwintering, planting, pruning, propagation, tools.
We love many things about gardening.
Yeah.
I know.
Gardening's fun.
It's so fun. Well, and then probably, I don't know about you guys, but we've noticed this trend pretty much since COVID, maybe in 2021, but seed sowing starts up basically end of December into January, and we've noticed that our audience loves talking about seed sowing, like winter seed sowing of perennials and
peppers, tomatoes.
Yeah, and then there's like the
vegetable crops specifically too, but there's also the flowers.
There's some really fun things. So we're looking forward to starting that up too. Winter seed sowing.
Winter seed sowing. Yep.
It's weird. I still can't believe it's November. I feel like this year just flew by.
It did.
But here we are. So with that, you guys, I think.
A little bit.
We made a little list here.
What's new with us?
Well,
we talked about.
I think we kind of covered a lot of that already.
Okay.
Can you think of anything else?
No.
I can't either. A lot of you asked some awesome questions that we kind of covered that were on our list anyway. So
honestly, the chat and our discussion back and forth has been really fun, you guys. It's just great to hear what you guys have been up to, and what's going on in your gardens right now.
I know, I've really enjoyed this too.
And maybe we should look at the poll real quick.
Yeah, let's check the poll. And also, let's do that first. The poll has changed.
Look at that.
So 40% of you say, what did you take away from gardening this past year? That you love growing flowers from seed. That's awesome. Super fun.
Awesome. I think that gives us a little bit of direction. Thank you, by the way, guys. That gives us a little direction on some of the winter seed sowing.
That's so cool.
Coming up for us and what we can offer you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And that's so fun. As we're kind of starting to wrap up here, if you're new to our channel, we would love for you to subscribe so you can be a part of our community. And we'd also love to hear, now, I know Tracy mentioned that this was really helpful and hopes to be here again. And we would love for you to come back, because we're thinking of coming back every Saturday and doing these lives again.
Yeah, we really want to. I mean, yeah. And just if you're seeing this on the replay, definitely throw those questions down in the comments. Yeah. Like Allison said, definitely subscribe, because we got a lot more content coming up. Also, if you have any ideas for new videos, let us know that too. And thanks for being here. This has been really fun, you guys. Thank you.
This has been so fun. Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your morning here or afternoon or wherever you're watching.
Yeah.
We want to say again, Happy Veterans Day. Thank you so much for your service to all of you service members.
Yes.
And we
wouldn't be thank you.
Secure,
We wouldn't even have the country we have without you.
We really appreciate you.
It's just amazing.
So you guys. So we'll see you next Saturday. And watch for new videos this week.
Yes. Yes. More videos come.
Yay.
Thank you, and have a great weekend, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.